Call this meeting to order. Meriwether County Board of Commissioners special call meeting March 23rd, 2026, 4 p.m. Please silence your cell phones and other electronic devices. Please stand while the invocation is given by Vice Chairman Jennifer Snelson, followed by the pledge.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, we come to you humbly today to do the work for this county. Lord, we want what we do to be pleasing to you and honor you. Lord, help us hear the voices and what needs to be done to make the right decisions, and be with all of us as we handle this in a business orderly fashion. And we praise you and thank you for all that you do. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. With allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Mayor Doherty, would you like to open your meeting?
Yes. Good evening. I'm Dina Ingram, the city attorney for the city of Greenville, Georgia. This is actually not a meeting of our council because we do not have a quorum present. It requires 3 council members, and our another council member was not able to join us. So actually right now we only have 1. We expect another. So we are here to attend the meeting and to participate in discussion, but this is not an official meeting of the city of Greenville because we're not able to transact business without quorum.
Okay. This is an official meeting with us. I'd like to adopt our agenda. Changes to the agenda.
I make a motion to adopt.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Look, I'm voting.
First item, new business discussion of city of Greenville's proposed annexation of property for residential development. I'd like to open it up for discussion.
So I'll open this up just to kind of set the record straight as it relates to where we are procedurally. An application was received or petition was submitted by the developer on December 1st, but on December the 18th, that we received a letter indicating that that application was withdrawn. And so right now we do not have a pending application for annexation for the city, and there is no application by the city of Greenville. So the city of Greenville is not proposing this annexation. But I do understand why we're having this meeting. There's a lot of questions regarding the development and the developers here. But I just wanted to be clear that this is not the city's proposed annexation. It is a potential application from the potential applicant who's here, who will be a part of the discussion and will be asking questions. And so as it relates for the city of Greenville, in opening, we are here to participate in the discussion and hear additional information. The developer has shared some information as late as I think February with the council via email, but we have not received an additional application because I do understand that there's some concerns regarding the project. And so that would be kind of our opening discussion, and we would follow the lead of the commission as to when the developer may be presenting or sharing information. And then a part of our questioning, what we like to hear through the presentation is when they anticipate filing another application for annexation, so that then we can send the appropriate statutory notice to the county indicating that we've received it. The county then has 30 days to object, and if there's a issue that we might need to address, we can go through arbitration. So there's some procedures or processes that happen after that application. But for today, we like to know when they might be applying again. And hopefully this discussion will help that petition or help ensure that there's information within that application that might get ahead of some of the concerns that the commission may have.
And thank you for sharing that, but we are aware of the procedures that need to take place for that. So it was brought up to us that it was going to happen. And I guess one of the biggest questions that I had is, what is the plan? What do you propose? What is it that you see? And how do you get there?
May we speak now? I don't know the procedure here. My name is Richard Ferry. I'm with Brent Holdings, where our address is 9008 East Highway 16 in Sonoy. And this is Joey Penley. And Joey, if you want to just introduce yourself real quickly.
Yep. Hey, I'm Joey Pendley, and Brent and I have partnered on this Greenville 174 LLC.
Right. And I think the important part at this point, as the city pointed out, is our application has withdrawn and we are merely property owners at this point. We do not have an application pending. We have a proposed project that we're looking at, but right now it's in the state of we are property owners discussing it with the city. She was also accurate in saying that we made our initial application in December. Towards the end of or to the middle of that month, we were asked to withdraw that application. And the purpose of withdrawing it was so that we could allow time for the city and the county to get together and discuss some of the items that might come up if this project were to move forward. As you know, in an annexation, the city is being removed from the service delivery area of the county and moving into the city. And the goal of that is for us to develop the project that we propose. So at this point, what we're looking to do is kind of just have an open discussion about what our project is. And then as was brought up by the city, just talk about some of the items that might come up so that we can avoid a lengthy process going through that annexation objection process. And so did I cover everything appropriately? Is that about right?
Looking at me, Richard?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, let everybody know that, yeah, so basically, I've got a lot of experience with these. And once the letter comes in from the city of the intent to consider an annexation application, that has a lot of legal implications and sets a lot of deadlines that are no good for the city, the county, or the developer. So I called Richard and I said, would you consider withdrawing this so we get some time and the board can learn? It's like, I don't know if they're gonna have an objection or not, but the only way you can figure it out is to talk to you, and you come down and you talk to some of the board members.
Yes, sir.
I believe the board of commissioners wanted to get everybody together rather than 2x2s and 1x1s.
Perfectly. Okay.
So everybody's hearing the same thing. We
Yes, sir.
appreciate the city and the developer being here today.
Yes, sir. So can we go to the shot of the? I asked. I don't know what the IT director's name is over there.
It's Brian.
I asked Brian to put this up on the screen, and we did bring paper versions of it also. If y'all be easier to look at it that way rather than looking at the screen. But what we had proposed was a single family subdivision. And I guess you can pop these. We can share these on the table too. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to flip this at you. I apologize for that. Yes. So the property that Greenville 174 owns is on the western side of Greenville. It is on the southern frontage of the Gay Connector, and then has access over to Highway 100 also. I'm sorry, 109, Highway 109 spur. We're showing, I'll let her hand out some.
It's not enough for everybody, but you wanna look at it, pass it around.
Might be easier.
I got some small light for that.
I appreciate it. Thank you. For the ease of the discussion, I'm going to use the screen. Oh no, it doesn't reflect up on the TV, does it?
No, pointer ain't gonna work there.
Well, this is for the sake of the discussion, we'll refer to the map in front of you. Really, what we're proposing here is 81 single family homes, and we understand that this single family home section of the project will need a second entrance. we haven't gotten into any of the discussions with the fire marshal, but in our previous discussions with the city, that was one of the items that came up, is making sure we had the proper number of entrances or access points and egress. So we will need a second entrance up there on Gate Connector. And then adjacent to that is a townhome subdivision. And that townhome subdivision has 230 units. And this is a conceptual plan. So although we did do the delineation for the creeks and the wetlands, the buffers are shown in there based upon what we anticipated per city code. There might be other items we have in there where we have to add buffers and other items in there. But generally what we're showing in there is 230 townhomes and 81 single family lots with multiple access points onto Gate Connector and onto Highway 109. And that's generally the plan. We have single family amenities in that in the single family section, and we have other amenities within the townhome section. And so don't have an elevation proposed yet. At this point, we're way too early in the planning process to have any type of builder on board who might be willing to propose a type of project there. So generally, that's all we're proposing, and we'll happy to take some questions from y'all about the project itself, and then also try to figure out a path forward.
So 311 units total.
Yes, sir.
And what acreage for the single family homes are you looking at per home?
Let's see. So what's the frontage on these?
The city requirement on those is 0.6 acres for single family and 0.92 on multifamily. I think we've got 1.78 units per acre is what it equals out across the whole project.
Y'all plan to keep it that way? Or try to change it to the city council after it's approved? You said city agreement with 0.6.
Correct.
I've heard that once it got approved, city council gonna change it to 0.25 4-acre lots. Would that be y'all's intention?
Then I don't think we heard that from us. We haven't had that conversation with city council, not on this project. And this was drawn per the city requirements, current requirements.
So what I'm saying here today, y'all would not go in there and try to change it smaller than 0.6.
No, sir, that's not our intention. Our intention is
Go
to,
with the city council.
No, I would think with lots this size and the cost that we would leave it at 0.6.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about smaller lots.
no, we've not talked about it on our side at all.
So I guess a question that's in my mind is to the city is, how would we provide water and sewer to this?
We already have the 650 gravity line that runs almost directly through the middle of the property. And the water infrastructure is already set up in place where we don't have to add any more water towers, pump stations, anything like that. We already have enough pressure for our system now to sustain.
So you'd be able to provide 311 homes.
Yep.
Water, no
Go
problem.
ahead, I'm sorry, Brian. Go
No,
ahead.
no, go ahead, Gene.
Here again, the communications is, I thought, y'all get your water through county, correct?
LaGrange.
Right, through that.
Oh, no,
Well, it's coming from,
yeah, it comes from the reservoir.
right, that's what I'm saying is, I was told that they may limit how much water y'all can have because depending on what happens with the data center.
I've never had a conversation with them
So
about it.
y'all haven't had no notification on that.
No, we have not.
It was in the January meeting.
Yes.
Y'all said it in the January city council meeting. That the talks were to be that they were limiting the water coming from LaGrange. It's here, I heard it on, I watched it, heard it. The LaGrange was limited? They were cutting it back, yes.
So our contract is up for renewal with LaGrange in June 30th. And so right now, there's no change in capacity.
Yeah, we don't know.
We haven't had those conversations with LaGrange about limiting capacity. And we're also exploring how we expand our capacity to be able to provide water. So there are other options potentially available, but at this moment, are not aware of any restrictions or limitations.
What are the options?
Well, we just had a conversation this morning. I'm sure you're aware with the Regional Authority, Mary County, Regional Water Authority.
I know
Right.
you're saying there's other options. Where would that even come from? Because right now it's coming from, but.
Correct.
Ranger Troop County, but I don't know of any other water close by coming in Green.
So there's discussion in this region about how we work together as cities to ensure that everyone in this region has water. And so those conversations are very new, recent conversations, but the city is always open to exploring options.
I understand now, I think, as board member here, I would want to see, not just options, how that will take place, who's gonna pay for that infrastructure, and how far is it coming from, how long it's gonna take to get it. And also, if I was y'all, I'd reach out to the Grange, where you get water from, and get a commitment letter from them to present to the board, to the citizens, that you're guaranteed the water that this may or may not take. But if they can't give it to you in writing, and that's the only place you're getting water from, I see a big problem.
So currently we'll get about 20 million gallons per month of water from LaGrange, and we're using 25%. So again, that contract is up for renewal June 30th.
You get about 5 million gallons.
We have the capacity.
We purchase about 20% of what are available.
Capacity is
Capacity.
correct.
We buy about 5 million gallons a month, is what we use now. And our contract goes up to, I believe, 26 or 27 million gallons.
So it's a
Correct.
developer, so if they do.
This is gonna over double it.
What
Right,
would
but
you-
we have.
This proposed project will double the water needs.
No, not double, you're looking at probably about 70%, 60-70%.
I'll ask the developer, y'all done this, you're professionals at it, so forth, if this was a complete project. How much water do you think it would take to supply all those homes, townhomes and everything, a good accurate number?
Gosh. Typically, what is about 250? Is that what the average household is?
The average American uses 82 gallons of water a day.
What's the average? But you know,
So,
3.1 people per house,
yeah,
but about 250 gallons per day, I think is really what engineers like to use as the amount of water that would be in each household. So multiply that number times 311, and you come up with your base there. But you know, obviously you have some irrigation. Yeah, so have some irrigation on the outside of the neighborhood where we have our open space. You know, maybe another 10,000 gallons total.
How many gallons do you say the average home would use?
Average household typically 250.
250,
300 homes,
77,750 gallons.
and y'all get 5,000 gallons, huh?
5
million.
5 million, excuse me, I'm sorry.
So to the city, if y'all have looked at this, taxation wise, have y'all looked at what it may bring in tax wise? Because the proposed residential part is probably not going to be enough to cover the services that are provided in something like this. So it may be a situation to where you lose money, not get enough tax in based on this proposal to cover the services that you have to provide 311 people homes.
Why would you say that it would not be enough tax money? I mean, if each home is taxed, regular taxes, why would you think it not be enough money to cover the usage?
By the time you have to put the pipes in, the lines in, the sewer, what have you in there, you're not gonna get enough off the tax.
I can address that.
Okay.
Is it, what a lot, I don't know if Greenville's ever done one or Meriwether County, but a lot of like Fayette has done one, Coweta has done one. And what they show is that residential, I mean, like it would be lower in Meriwether probably because of the price of real estate, but still for comparison purposes in Coweta, I can get you the exact numbers, it's something like over $1 million, including schools. And without schools, it's something like $700,000 or $800,000 or $900,000 for residential. That's why the counties are trying to improve their commercial basis because they've got police, fire, roads, bridges, road maintenance, those kind of things. And I don't know, Georgia Tech does these studies. I don't know how to do them.
So 800 $500,000 to $1 million home that tax base would cover the services.
Well,
but other
it's
than that,
different for
right.
every jurisdiction. I can send you Cowie's available to that, give you an idea. But I don't know, I think I know the one of it done here. They do it in Georgia Tech, but that's the problem. You hear all these local jurisdictions trying to increase their tax bases. They're trying to add commercial and industrial because of the resident, because most people don't live in a house nice enough to offset the service.
I just don't want the city to get into a situation that you may actually lose money over.
Well, I don't think people with $800,000 home.
No, but I'm just saying, either
We
way.
know that right off the bat, so that's not gonna help. Remember, a lot of folks, we can talk here lately, about 63% of our property taxes goes to the school board. All right, so they're gonna have a county tax and a city tax, and then you know how much goes to the school board and so forth. That he's exactly right, because y'all gonna be probably, y'all have to provide everything for it, not the county, that you're putting into the city, so. Unless we end up with intergovernmental agreements, so forth, but that's bringing a big expense to the city agreement and the citizens agreement. So you need to do your research on that.
So again, we don't have an application pending before us, so we haven't looked at the number.
But
We
you
haven't
have
looked,
an application.
but, and it was withdrawn within 2 weeks.
Right, but you do
Yes,
have.
and really stupid, we're having this discussion, but it'd been nice if it would apply for, and well, I like you said, it goes quicker. Because it is giving us a chance to talk and citizens to listen, and for y'all to say, and they to say, and us to say, so we, figure out what's the best for the county, what's best for the
If
city.
y'all have disagreements, it's better to talk about them before we're under the deadline of everybody. I've had developers and cities all say, this is a terrible process. I say, if the county agrees with,
I like to look
so
at
handcuffed.
I like to look at it as a concern instead of a difference, but
Well, not different,
Right, no, I know.
anything you had, the time to talk about it is now, because we're immediately in a litigation posture.
I guess what I'm saying too is before it happens, just make sure you look into it to make sure that it's gonna benefit you before anything. But I don't see where it's going to. I think it is actually gonna cost money.
Thanks, so too.
One concern that I have is right now, I've been studying a lot that's going on in the legislature. And our governor is looking at signing a bill at the end of it that is gonna do away with property tax in the next 7 years. It's gonna reduce what citizens have to pay. So we're already gonna be looking at how we're gonna run our budget on a 25% of what we were getting as property tax revenue on homeowners. Their homeowners exemption is gonna be a lot more. So the counties and cities are gonna have to run more on your commercial revenue from taxes. Schools will still get their portion, their pennies like they've been getting. It's counties and cities that are gonna face the hardship. And it's gonna be businesses and land that is not under homestead exemption. Have y'all looked into any of that and watched that coming through to see how that might impact? Because it's already passed and made crossover. So I didn't know if you had looked into that, because they're talking about reducing property tax in the next 7 years. They were thinking 100%, but now they're saying 75. So it's gonna cut this amount 3/4 out in the next 7 years.
May I speak to that a second?
Sure.
I mean, I don't know what role I play here, but if that is an accurate fact, I've heard about it also. So therefore, the increase of the commercial base is absolutely necessary. We also do commercial development, and we do it in places there are more rooftops. So if everything is geared towards putting the tax base on commercial units, it'd be very difficult to have a higher commercial base without having rooftops to support it. It's just the rooftops come first, the commercial comes second. And so if that's the actual plan of the state government, then areas that are more rural are indeed going to be hurt by that.
So, I mean, that's a big concern, but I don't want it to be that Greenville's expecting this and it's gonna come out great by the time they get the rooftops. But then if the commercial doesn't follow with it, and then how are we gonna sustain that area?
No, I agree.
It is a big concern of mine, looking at in the future, in the next, they're talking about cutting it down over 7 years. And I just wanna make sure everyone was aware that it's something that's coming. So we don't look and say, oh, in a couple of years, because I understand you want to do this in phases, not jumping in, because it's gonna be a phased project, correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah, yes, ma'am. That's absolutely correct.
Phased years, are you expecting this to project out?
This is a 300 lot. If we could be in the ballpark of 50 lot per phase, that would be probably every 6, 7 years. Mhm. Yes, yes, sir. No, 50 lots at a time.
Yeah.
So when
Do
you,
the whole thing.
yes, sir.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, work.
Yeah, no, we could do more than that, but I think the absorption would be about that. So that we could make sure that we're not creating an overabundance of developed land. We're creating it in phases so that that the absorption equals the development.
So I think we'll have a better idea after April 2nd when the legislative session ends. If in fact that passes, that's something we'd have to consider. If it doesn't, we won't until the next legislative session, but
They're pushing that one through pretty, so it's a concern.
and once it passes, we'll know what the final numbers are, or final percentages, and that's something we can consider.
Have any traffic studies been done? I know that had been discussed at one time, but I didn't know if y'all had done any of the preliminary traffic studies.
And not at this point, ma'am, no. No, we were waiting to get to a point where we at least had a pending application and waiting for when this meeting was called, we decided we would hold off until this meeting was discussed.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
So I was looking, I gave my map out to some citizens.
Sure.
But I just was looking. The one that you gave me earlier says LP2, and this one says LP1. But if you, looks like maybe there's maybe I'm not reading it right, but is this the same plan or?
It's generally the same plan. The only thing that really shows differently is the location of the ponds.
Okay, so the units are all the same.
Yes, sir. And we'll have a final one with the application.
I didn't mean to interrupt,
I am curious as to what, just individually, I know you're not here as a whole, but what are y'all's thoughts on it?
My thoughts are, always, to speak out, but to address what Jennifer is saying right now, we currently have a rooftop problem. We have new businesses that's coming in, we don't have enough, rooftop to support the business. I look at downtown development and we're trying to develop our downtown. It's kind of hard to develop the downtown, bringing people in when they cannot survive with the rooftops that we have here in Greenville. But we definitely need rooftops in order to support our commercial businesses. That's one of my main concerns. Another main concern that I have is that Greenville has always had a big population. We used to have like 17,000 population. Now we're down to like 700. And so we don't have any rooftop here to support the business, even if we brought them in. And we have always maintained, I know the sewage system, the last 10 years when I served on this board, on the county commissioner, they just put in a new sewage system in the county, in the city. So that's our attribute for us, what we're looking at. And we do currently get water from LaGrange, and I don't think that there's going to be a shortage in getting water from LaGrange. So those are my main concern. My main concern is that if we're going to develop our downtown Greenville, or we're going to develop our town, we have to have some rooftops here to support the business. Otherwise, it's no use in inviting them to come in because they have no customers. And we can't survive on people traveling through Greenville. Maintain that.
Seems like you want some slow growth, instead of, this is like doubling your rooftops.
Well, that is true, but we've been slow for a long time. Like I say, we have more than half our population is gone, and our population is leaving because we have nothing here in Greenville to keep them here. When someone graduates from school, that first thing is, I got to get out of Greenville. It's nothing here to support it. So we are going to have to do better as a city to support our youth and our older people. And I realize people are coming in, they want to close the door behind them because they're coming into a slow bedroom community. But we need to open that door up to allow young people to be able to come in also and to be able to stay here and survive with jobs and things. So we can't just close the door just because you came from Peachtree City and no one else come in. We have to open that door and allow everyone to have that same opportunity. And Greenwood needs to grow. Everything else around us is growing. Greenwood is the only place that's staying stagnant, that's not growing.
We're right there with you in my part of the area, so.
I've got a question. Either I misunderstood your numbers, but you said it used to be 17,000 and now it's down to 1,700. It's down to what?
Like 700.
All right, so where's all the rooftops at? Why aren't they filling up?
They are dilapidated if you go across.
Okay, so they need to be bought and rebuilt and
Right, and so all those.
are these lots available for somebody to come in and, or are they just sitting there rotting this?
Sitting there rotting, most of them are sitting there rotting, there are air properties, so that's another thing that we have to address. Or dilapidated buildings, so those are things that the city would have to address.
That'd be awesome if y'all could reach out to those people, tell them you want to get more rooftops and have nice homes for bring people to Greenville, and they'd be willing to, you know, either build something there to make a rooftop or sell it to somebody that will, and there's, you know, that's another, that, I guess, 800 homes or whatever your number you're using, but, that just worries me that there's places there rooftops can be built, but nobody's trying to buy it and build it. Well, I don't know how running over here doing 300 over here is gonna help. It's just, numbers aren't adding up.
Mr. Richard, I have a question. If, when this gets started being developed, is it gonna be, I know with Scarborough, they go in and clear the land and get it ready, and then eventually a builder comes in and purchases like the project. Is it gonna be where there could be lots that people could buy a lot and come in and build their own homes on it? Or is it gonna be pretty much turnkey like what's over, like in Hogansville, where they just come through and start building in the phases? And I mean, is it gonna be more cookie cutter, or is there gonna be room for custom homes? Are there gonna be lots skipped in it? You know what I'm saying? Like to leave room, so if someone says, I really like this lot, but I'd rather buy my lot and the one next door with it blank.
Yeah.
Is that a possibility, or is it something pretty much just?
Yeah, typically, that's a great question. Typically in a project like this, we would sell the lots to the individual builder. We haven't selected a builder team yet. We don't know if we're gonna have a team or whether it's gonna be one builder. On a project of this size, it would typically be one builder on the single family side. The townhome side, I think it's a little bit different market. And so that would be much more difficult to do as multiple builders. But these are 100-foot lots as proposed, as required by the city regulation. There might be some opportunity for that, but that's not what we typically do now. Now, we typically sell them to a single builder, and they would go in there and build all of them out. Yes or no?
So you're gonna sell individual lots, so when it gets done, you're gonna sell the whole project?
Well, so probably being a takedown is how it would work. So we would, like I said, we would target that 50 lot initial phase, and there's 81. So let's say we target 40 lot phases in the single family section. We would do the first 40, begin selling those to a builder, and probably do them in groups of 10, where they buy 10 and then they buy the next 10 until they move through the whole 80 of them.
But usually it's the same builder.
Yes, sir.
Do not come in, take a subdivision, then I, Miss so-and-so go build her house, and so they like to keep it under what they want, what they want to see, and they all seem to be flow together, and all of a sudden, you know, and then they can develop the HOA and so forth.
For a lot of reasons that makes more
So
sense.
they're not gonna let somebody come out and take
Yeah.
out a lot and go, well, I want my uncle so-and-so to build me a house. Or he wants to sell the lot so he can make the money off the house and the lot.
Correct. So we do have a project where we have 3 builders in there, much larger than this. And they're all over each other. So we've had to segregate them into, these are your 20 and they're all together, and these are your 20. And managing that, as you've already explained a lot of the reasons, but managing it on our side is extremely difficult. In a project of this size, it just seems more practical. You'd have one. Now, the townhome might be, like I said, it's a different development, and that might be someone entirely different and than what we would build with the single family side.
Yes, I want to piggyback off what Mayor Ray said.
Our population is around 800. We are indeed revitalizing our downtown area. We have created our first, downtown development authority, and with more people coming in, we could get more, money for squads. As you well know, the squads, the Lamig, and the, T-squads, all of those, we get money, based on our population. So if our population goes up, we would get more money, revenue coming into the city.
Well, I just know that Manchester has done probably three or four of these projects over the last 20 years. Yeah. And it hadn't helped them. Because their population hadn't grown a bit and they don't have any places to eat hardly down there. So it hadn't really helped any of the commercial businesses or anything.
That's a very true statement.
Huh?
Very true statement.
How many businesses y'all have in Greenville right now?
Well, we just had our, supermarket, a new supermarket just opened, and Audie's Ice Cream. We have AJ. We have
The laundromat,
look, yes, we have the laundromat.
the store next to it, and another big store in Texaco here.
And we also had two new business owners who came by, to the stuff, opening two more businesses. The old, chicken place, a Big Chick, and also,
And
the shutter place.
I would just think since we're the county seat for y'all, we're gonna be the county seat for court, tags, elections, everything going on. There should be plenty of people coming here, and I don't know why they're not helping these businesses. You know, I just don't see how more rooftop is gonna actually bring business when y'all are the county seat. A lot of traffic comes through here, a lot of people come here. Maybe they're just not choosing to patronize what's here, I don't know.
when you ride through Greenville, what do you see? There's nothing here for them to do. We're always trying to get something here for them to do. If we get the people here, we can build business here for them to start. You're right. This was named after one of our presidents. They come through here and they keep right on down to the way. They don't have nothing to stop for. We gotta give them something to stop for.
That's what I'm saying, why businesses being built, they're empty buildings, and stuff.
Once you open a business here, you have nowhere to live. You gotta come open your business at 8 o'clock in the morning, drive way back to Atlanta. And turn around and come right back the next morning.
The rooftop aren't gonna bring it to the people in this.
You don't know that.
Yeah, I see.
If you don't know that.
And that's also why we are trying to get recreation here.
If I see, open up the recreation art, and bring that down, and bring stuff here.
I understand your needs, I really do, it just seems like it's just, I don't know if it's time or what's going on, but like Commissioner Collins said. I don't see how it's just gonna make Greenville blossom into our brother. Especially so far from the interstate, so far from other things.
It's not.
I guess my question,
15 minutes away from us, say no. Maybe
Is that city?
20 minutes away from.
yes, Councilmember Hill. No, I don't. 3 council members is a quorum.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm Councilmember Hill, sorry,
That's okay.
I didn't introduce myself, sorry.
And if we had a quorum, there's no business to transact because we have no application. But I guess with Greenville being the county seat of Meriwether County, and you all are the commissioners of Meriwether County, what has been the history or what is the appetite to help work together to attract businesses to the county seat of Meriwether? Because Greenville is the county seat.
Were we talking businesses or we talking about residential?
We're talking businesses, whatever, the businesses will bring, so business can bring residential, and we've heard from the developer that businesses follow rooftops. So there's 2 different positions, right? So my question is to the commissioners, have you all had any discussion, or has there been any thought about what you can do to help revitalize Greenville since it is the county seat of Meriwether?
Well, what we've been doing for the citizens of Meriwether County as a board of commissioners, as you may know, if anybody's went and got a tag lately, we've got the new building over here for the building department, tax assessor's office. I went there for the first time today and I got to I thought I was in a big city. I got to pull my tag, my number and go sit down, wait for them to call me. And then, we just moved out that little old abandoned building, the elections office, and put them over to a new building. If you've been there to register and vote or do anything there, it's a beautiful building there. You came into the courthouse square, you see all the scaffolding that we worked on for the last, it was even things done to it 5 years ago. And this board has finally been able to get the money allocated, do things that takes place. And you see, we're renovating the historic building of the county seat, which belongs to is in Greenville, but belongs to the county. You know, we're getting a lot of things done. You know, people talk about, well, why aren't you doing this with the road? Well, it took all this time to finally get someone on board that can run an asphalt crew, to get the money allocated from T-Splosh, be able to get equipment purchased, and now all of a sudden, we're gonna start doing way more miles per road, asphalt per year in Meriwether County than we ever had before. Of course, some people say, well, that's because of election year. That has nothing to do with it. It's because we finally got the money, we finally got the equipment, and we finally got to go ahead to rock and roll. And people are gonna start seeing this board is really making things happen. Now, I would love to have Greenville, but I don't think it's the board's.
I'd like to address a question about business though, what this board does for that. So this board is supporting fully the IDA Industrial Development Authority for the entire Meriwether County. Zoning restrictions, well, not restrictions, zoning allocations at this time is industrial park. If the city has an industrial park in Manchester, Woodbury, if Greenville has one, I don't know if you have an industrial park or zoned industrial area. If you do, we would gladly incorporate that into the IDA plan. The citizens want us to keep the industry into the industrial allocated zones. So that is where we are working to do and expand the industry, because that's what the citizens want. If Greenville had an industrial park that was zoned industrial, then we could include that in there. If we do, and I don't know about it, I apologize, but we fully support that and fund that, have another meeting with them later on, continue that program. So we're all for it in the right areas of the county, in the right businesses that will benefit them.
So I serve on the IDA board, and I do appreciate everything that you all are doing for the IDA. But to get back to Commissioner King, and I appreciate all the things that you all are doing to revitalize the new building out here, the courthouse, and the tax and all. But as you can see, you all are revitalizing those, and that's our plan to revitalize the entire Greenville. And maybe by you all doing what you all doing, that is going to help Greenville in a way. Because when people ride through, they see something different that they had not been seeing. So you all are upgrade, and our ideal is to upgrade all stuff. And we cannot do that without rooftop, without having money, without people here to support our business. We have to have people here to support the business. Otherwise, they're going to go out of business. You can take the restaurant, you can take the ice cream, you can take AJ. If in 6 months they have not had enough people to come through to support that business, what are they going to do? They're going to go out of business. So therefore, it's very important that we get some rooftops here in Greenville to support our business. There's no other way around it.
Has there been an analysis of what the cost to the city is to get water to or any of those services that you have to do inside this annexation comparatively to the tax revenue that's going to generate?
Well, there's already an existing 6-inch sewer line running through the property, so the sewer is already set up in place. And our water system, essentially, we don't have to add another water tank, not another pump, anything. We have a loop system as it is. All we do is add on to that loop system. We have enough water pressure that we sit.
I apologize, I was late.
No,
I had work commitments, but so we've already covered that, and then the developers.
May I also address that one item? It was said a couple of times. I just want to add for clarity that the city is not installing any of this infrastructure. We as developers install that. So the water, the sewer, the sewer collection line goes through the property already. We met with the city early on in this project, understand where the water line ends and what we would have to do to bring that water line down and complete the loop that was mentioned. So we understand what needs to be done. We take on those responsibilities as part of the development. It's not a cost to the city. So I just want to make sure that was clear. That after we complete though, we hand over the project, the roads and the sewer and the water system over to the city.
I just want to say, I am very concerned that you won't recover on the taxes what you think you may. I would highly suggest figuring out how to do that before you make a move, because that's one thing you don't want to do for yourself or the taxpayers in your area, is to move forward with a project that in the end is going to wind up costing you instead of helping you to get what you all see right now as moving forward for Greenville. That's one of the biggest concerns for me, is do that study and make sure and reach out and let your citizens talk to you, the ones that put you in your seats. What do they want? What are their concerns? And listen to them, because this is a huge project. It is not a 20-house project. It's a 311 homes. It's more rooftops than what you have right now with the 700 to 800 people living in Greenville. I promise you, they don't live in 311 houses. They probably live in a lot less than that. So do yourselves a favor, and the people who put you in your seats a favor. Make sure that you calculate everything you can to make sure that something like this is going to actually benefit you to be able to do what you dream that you want to do before you move forward and try to do it.
Brian, very good with his point on that, because something else you need to consider, y'all don't have a fire department, right? We have a government agreement where we service. That's what I'm saying. But all of a sudden you go ahead and y'all decide to do this development, and that's requiring our fire department, if we even continue to agree with y'all to upgrade systems, upgrade this, get more trucks, get all this, we're not putting that expense on the county taxpayers to cover that for the city of Greenville. So that's what I think that's what you're referring to. Look at all those numbers, right, Ron?
Everything
Everything adds up, so.
Can I add a question? So when they are building all of these houses outside of the city limits of Greenville and Meriwether County, 5 trucks are supporting them. Are you telling me it's make a difference if they're inside the city limit or if they're outside? Because I see plenty of houses going outside.
It can make a big difference. Just like you said, he'll turn everything over to y'all. Y'all responsible for the water, y'all responsible for the sewer problem. If the roads start having, like we got roads that's been turned over to us, over Hunter Welch, it's all sinking. Y'all responsible for paving them, y'all responsible for taking care of them. And like everything else, you would come to us and ask, would you be willing to do another intergovernmental agreement for the fire and so forth? You got your own police department, but that's like with some of these other warehouses we're talking about coming in, it's going to require so much height, the ladder trucks and so forth. We can't put that cost into the taxpayers. So I'm just saying that's something you need to consider, because you could have a board one day that says y'all need to have your own fire department. There's too many homes over there, and we're stretched out all over the county. So that's what the things he's saying. I really need to think hard on all of it.
Yes, cities provide services for cities, county provides services, incorporate part of the county. The county, they provide, I guess, I didn't know, y'all provide fire to Greenville pursuant to intergovernmental agreement, but that's.
Only because we agree.
Only because you agree, right. County is
Right.
obligated fire protection services, city.
So
Correct. And it sounds like if this goes forward, the county may not renew their IGA for fire.
I don't think
Yeah.
they would ever say, no, we're not gonna do it. I'm just saying, if it required the fire department come before us and go, we need 2 more tanker trucks, we need this, we need that. The city's not paying for that.
The city could pay for it.
Unless we bid y'all for, because the county fire department has gotten money from the county taxpayers, and then we're gonna take their money.
Well,
That's what I'm getting at. But all that.
Yeah, no, but I just think,
County, you gotta understand also, because we pay city and county taxes here. So you got my money in that fire department, just like you have the ones on the outside. We pay city and county tax, and you got it in the grant.
But there's no obligation for a county fire department to serve inside the city absent
You
any
know, there's no
government.
obligation.
correct, but I think what is important, because this conversation is very premature because we don't have an application, that we don't create an environment where the community starts thinking, whether community, where it was withdrawn, okay? It was withdrawn in December, so you're aware that there's no pending application, correct? So right now we're speculating, and now we're talking about public safety.
Well, let me.
And we're talking about potentially pulling fire from a city
Really?
if there's potentially an issue, right? So the attorney for the county was speaking, so now I'm speaking.
But are y'all gonna let her talk for you?
I'm not talking for them, I'm talking,
Commissioners
I can't talk.
But I think,
Just correcting the fact, that's all
Right.
I did. I just want to make sure the public doesn't think that the
Right.
county is obligated to provide fire or police protection to any city, because they're not.
Right, and I think having that in this context about a development that doesn't seem to be that favorable right now for the county might put out in there, and this commissioner indicated that that's only one person. I think it's very prudent that we make sure that there's not this sentiment that goes out there that there may be a fire protection, a public safety issue. I think before we start talking about public safety, we should at least have an application. We should be providing notice to the county. The county then has 30 days to object. And if that's a part of the objections, we can deal with it at that time. But once we start going into public safety, that is a real concern for the community.
Well, the reason I brought it up is because that's why we're having this open discussion today, is to cover everything, and that's one of the things y'all need to consider. Throughout the whole process, just like City of Woodbury just approved a development down there, and, they're worried about how they're gonna have a ladder truck tall enough to get in there. I don't know how tall the townhouses are gonna be. But they require a ladder truck.
I'm not sure.
See, I'm not a fire. We don't have that yet, so I was just throwing that out there. We're here to talk about things to consider, and we need to consider everything. My goal is to make sure the county's tax-based citizens aren't taking on a burden or something that they didn't want or that wasn't part of.
That's fine.
That's my job as a commissioner.
Understand.
Question. Sorry, go ahead, Mr. Richard. Go
I
ahead.
would say I understand that, and I respect this.
Yeah, thank you.
As the Greenville City Council, when this application was brought before, did you ever have it brought up in a public meeting to get input from your citizens, from the city of Greenville citizens at a council meeting to see what their thoughts were, to let them have a discussion with you before, like when the application was first brought in? I know this was before you were there, that's why I'm asking.
But I'm aware of the timeline.
But I'm asking her, did you ever open it up for your citizens to come in and have a space to tell you how they feel? I mean, I'm just asking, did y'all ever have a public hearing or anything about it?
No, because our previous city attorney said we had not reached that point.
The application was received by the city on December 1st. Council had its last meeting on December 2nd. So there was no other meeting that month, and it was withdrawn on December 18th. So there was no time in December, once the application was before the council, to go to the community.
She was aware. I didn't know if she had reached out to the citizens ahead of time. That's what I was asking her. I wasn't asking you, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am, and I just answered your question.
Right.
Our attorney said that we had not reached that point, and he had to resign in December. So here we are.
So I think we need more input on the citizens, their views before anything, because they need to have to say it if they're in favor of something like this. I mean, it impacts them on the day to day. And there are county citizens as well, but in the city of Greenville, I wish they had more of a voice to be able to speak on behalf of them.
So you're suggesting that a decision has already been made. It has not been made. You saying that you would like for the community to have had.
Did the council vote to send that application over to the county?
Yeah.
Then action was taken.
Yes.
Yes.
The law requires, as you know, Attorney Lee, that once you receive the application, you have to send it over within 30 days. So that's a statutory requirement. That's a statutory requirement. Okay, and so then it was withdrawn. So right now,
Sent over, they were under a deadline by law, as the statute said, to reply.
and it was withdrawn. And so at this point, there's more than enough time for the community to be made aware and be engaged when we get an application. But right now, we don't have one. And I'm not sure what the developer is going to do after this conversation. So if we get it, we will move forward. If we don't, then we won't.
Well, I think we're running short on time, and the reason that I wanted to sit down with everybody is to talk about exactly what I've said. I'm concerned that I don't want to see Greenville put themselves into a situation. It's like Emmett said, Manchester's built 4 of these areas. It has not helped the growth. If it knocks the socks out here, that would be great, but dreams sometimes turn into nightmares, and that is my biggest concern for y'all and for the citizens too, is to just do everything you can to make sure that every I is dotted, every T is crossed, and that there will be money to do your downtown, to get it where it needs to be, because if not, you've taken 20 steps back.
My final word is, I appreciate the county commissioner for what they're doing and what they're saying. But I think that we're coming to you as a municipality to ask you to annex that land into our Greenville, understanding that whatever problems may come with it, that's on the city of Greenville, but then that's our problem. Once that land is annexed, then that becomes our problem. Now, I don't see how it's going to affect you all decision as to whether you can allow to annex the land into Greenville or not. Understanding that we may do come into some problems, but those are our problems and we will deal with those problems.
Well, I can see, but
Problems on citizens, because they ultimately are the ones, if there's a problem, it's not just city of Greenville, it's the citizens of Greenville, which are citizens of the county.
And we will have
And
a
that's our
public
concern.
hearing, we will have our public hearing for those citizens, but those are Greenville citizens. They are not Meriwether County citizens, so you're making a decision on what Meriwether County citizens might say.
Well, they live in Greenville,
they're out,
they're
hey,
citizens.
You're referring to unincorporated.
Here, the people do not even stay within city limits of Greenville.
No, ma'am, I've talked with people in the city like that.
So you do what you have to do, but like I say, if you do what you're supposed to do and allow us to annex that land into whatever problems that we have.
Thank you.
Only the city can annex property. The county can only object on very limited grounds. The county does not get a say so. It's very squarely on the shoulders of Greenville. The county can object and try to get some
I would-
things out of it, but it's not the county's decision.
Okay, so then if we pass that application, then we should not hear a problem from the county.
No, that's up to the county commission.
That's what I thought.
but I would like to get something straight that your constituents are our constituents too. So,
Well, let's say, man, we're talking about the fire truck, and from my understanding, when I pay county taxes, just like everybody out in the county, I pay city taxes also.
But just make clear, I know somebody's, I didn't realize she was trying for y'all, whatever, talk about public safety, all that's concerned. But when you just sit there and made a statement that this will be our problem.
No.
And then when the chief comes to us and says, look, townhouses over there, it's gonna require a ladder truck and this and that. We're gonna remind you that became city of Greenville's problem. How are y'all gonna buy the fire truck?
And it affects the county because all these roads will eventually have to leave the city and get on county. So the county
They have to
require to
put out
maintain
there.
those roads, it requires traffic signalization and all that stuff.
does it matter that the county is an acre, 2 acre minimum, and they're gonna do this at 0.6?
That's why they wanted annexed in, so they could.
Yeah. Anybody got any?
For industrial truck.
So my,
Rooftops.
my concern is kind of along with Commissioner Threadgill, I want to make sure that we get all the facts that we need so we can make the best decision, because we don't want it to turn into something bad. My opinion is this is probably too large of a project right now. I would like to see the growth that would support the tax base enough to allow our citizens to have the amenities that other counties have without us having to raise the taxes to do that. But there not be enough growth that it overwhelms the county at the same time. And if I knew how to do that, I'd probably be a wealthy man not sitting here. But I would think that we would find a way to do a smaller version of this and bringing in some businesses at the same time. So I understand both sides of that, but I just want to make sure that for the citizens' sake, we don't create a headache to the Commissioner Gregory's father. I want to make sure everybody's done that thought process. It's good.
Both of us kind of want to talk, this wasn't our intention of getting an adversarial condition between the attorneys and the county. you know, this wasn't what we wanted to do. We wanted to talk about the project and talk about ways to improve it. And, you know, I'll let Joey, this is his line, but, you know, our goal was to come in here and do a project that really makes everybody proud. And it seems to me that all we did was create a firestorm here that in our opinions, a little bit unnecessary. I think we can get I'm sorry, I didn't get your name when you first came in, Adam. You know, let's come to a project that if it needs to be smaller, if it does need to be phased, then we do that and we do bring it in slowly, but it still needs to be annexed, you know, into the city in order to do something different. And if the townhomes are the issue, you know, because that was said many times, okay, we might be able to punt and go in a different direction. And maybe it's a single family lot that achieves a much more comfortable position. Because if townhomes are the issue, well, there's a way to get around townhomes. We just don't do them. But we're here to talk to y'all, not create a negative attitude between the city and the county. I don't like that. So what I wanted to do, and Joe, this was, you know, he's the one who I've been in city government prior to my current position, and we were always able to work these things out. Now, I've seen other cities and other counties not be able to work things out. So the fact that you were able to sit down and talk is good, but the idea is talk and come to a consensus that works. And that's really what we were trying to achieve by coming to this meeting. I don't think I achieved that at all.
That's what the commission,
But
just try to get all them so piecemeal from their perspective.
I
You
understood.
didn't want to sit down and talk, but instead of coming, they wanted to do it together rather than
Right.
one-on-one.
Right, and I appreciate that. I just think this came out wrong, and maybe it was us leading it incorrectly. But, you know, I just feel that we created an ugly situation here, and I didn't want that to happen. I wanted it to be a more, you know, a give and take of ideas, not necessarily a give and take of my idea, not your idea. And so I apologize if this is how it turned out to the mayor, the council, commission. Apologize for you at all. Obviously, you know, you attorneys, this is an adversarial relation. You guys love this stuff. You know,
It's the information.
Yeah.
Well, let's look at this way here. They said they need rooftops. Properties in the county. We have ordinances now to go in there and curb and gutter and asphalt and put houses in there. But the reason no one's gonna go in there and run water and sewer and put houses on 1.5 acre lots, because the developer and the builder can't make enough money.
there's no return on that.
I know. That's what it's all about.
Yes,
So,
sir.
but if they're wanting rooftops and the water and sewer's already there, somebody come in, they'll go in there and do, cause I think with water and sewer in the county, I think right now, the ordinance states you can have 1 acre lots. Or one, right?
1 acre.
Yeah, if you got water, 1.6, but if you got water and sewer, it's 1 acre lots. And there would be no discussion. You can go there and apply for it right now and put curb and gutter and have 1 acre lots, and y'all would have rooftops, and it could stay in the county, wouldn't even have to be annexed in. But I know the fact is, the reason to go in like that is to be able to get 300 lots on 170 acres with a lot of water issues, so make a pile of money and go. And that's what's concerning citizens. Right with the county.
You know, and I understand what you're saying. That's not the get into the community and go is absolutely not what we do. This man lives in the county.
Oh, no.
He's not going anywhere. I live in Sonoy. I'm not that far away. You know, that again, it's just a negative way of talking about it. We can come up with something that isn't so adversarial. And so, you know, we apologize if this came across wrong. You know, that's not our intention.
Richard.
And, you know, we'll do something differently.
Yeah, I'd like to speak for 1 second. So, excuse me, I'm a Meriwether County resident. Commissioner King is my commissioner up in District 1. We got a farm up there. We do farming. We do, my business is in Coweta. But I'm the one, and I want to clear the air on a couple of things. There's been some social media going on, and of course, that's always going to happen, right? Brent Scarborough's not the guy that came with this idea. This was my idea. I got a 22-year-old daughter that can't afford to buy a house, just like any other young kid can't. If you want to know where the townhomes came from, that was where my idea was how do we provide a community where you have single family homes and you provide some townhomes where, the young people can get started out. Now, this meeting was not to approve or deny. It was an informational meeting that both heads of the city and the county agreed to have so that we could just talk about it. Is it good? Is it bad? What is the infrastructure? Are we going to be able to have water? Is LaGrange going to cut us off? So this meeting was not in any way for approval or denial. It's to talk about it. Is it a good idea? Is it a bad idea? Hell, to be honest, it's a great piece of hunting land. I mean, whichever way it goes. But my idea on this development was to try to build something where we could have more obtainable housing for the younger crowd. Now, if we, again, we've heard both sides and there's a lot to work out. We're nowhere even close to, we're not even close to having a public hearing on this thing yet. I mean, this is so premature and early, but we wanted to get everybody together to at least discuss, talk about issues, talk through what are our challenges and hurdles and how do we overcome them. So I just wanted for the citizens mainly to clear the air on what this meeting was about and where the idea came from. So if anybody wants to beat anybody up when we walk out, it was my idea. Y'all can come after me. That's fine.
Thank you, George.
Yep.
Anybody got anything else?
No, I wanted it to be just a communication thing to sit down and everybody bounce off of each other's ideas. And at the end of it, be able to make the best decision. That was my full intention.
And that's all I want to.
And thank you all. And thank you all for your consideration. And we will.
I would like to thank all the citizens that have reached out and called and let us know, some in favor, some not, either way. I appreciate, keep letting us know your thoughts on things, and we appreciate you taking time out of your day to come and be a part of these conversations. Even when they turn not as pretty, but we appreciate you showing up.
Yeah, thank y'all for coming.
If Greg will have anything else y'all want to say?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
No.
Okay.
Make
Aye.
a motion to go into executive session for litigation, personnel, real estate, and tax matters.
All in favor?
Good night.
Motion to go back into regular session.
Second.
All in favor?
I make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Thank you.